Okay, guys, I am going to simulate 3 networks, the ones I had on the board, the 30.10.8.8, 30.10.9.9, and 30.10.10.10/24 on router 201. I'm going to simulate these by creating what are called loopback interfaces. Loopback interfaces are basically virtual interfaces on the router. So how do I create a loopback interface? I simply say interface loopback, and if I execute the help feature by saying question mark, or by typing question mark rather, you see that I can basically pick any number out of this range for my loopback interface ID. So I'm going to pick 8, loopback 8, interface loopback 8, and you see as soon as I hit enter, the loopback interface was created and the line protocol has been changed to up. Now I assign it an IP address 30.10.8.8 255.255.255.0. Then I create my next loopback. I'm going to make this loopback 9. And my IP address is going to be 30.10.9.9/24, and quickly create loopback interface 10. All I'm doing is hitting the up arrow key to scroll through my commands and bring the command back up, and then just changing the relevant fields on my interface. So loopback 10 is going to have an address of 30.10.10.10. So I use my up arrow key to bring up the 30.10.9.9 and just change the 9s to 10. Now, if you notice, I haven't done a no shut on these interfaces. If I say do show IP interface brief, you see that these interfaces are already up without me having to say no shutdown. Loopback interfaces, you can manually shut one down. So let's shut down loopback 10 with the shutdown command. And look at our show IP interface brief command again. And see, I can manually shut it down, and now it says administratively down. But by default, they are up as soon as you create them. So once again, do show IP interface brief, and our interfaces are up. Now I'm going to include these interfaces in EIGRP. So router, can I say router EIGRP 100 from this config if prompt? Of course I can. Router EIGRP 100, and my prompt changes to the router prompt. And then I'm going to do a network statement that encompasses all 3 interfaces. So if I say network 30.10.0.0, since the 3rd and the 4th octet are changing, I can say match the 1st octet completely, match the 2nd octet completely, since all zeros in the 1st octet in the wildcard means match it completely. An off bit in a wildcard is a care bit, which means match it completely. For the 3rd and 4th octet, I can use all ones, which is I don't care bits, and I can say all ones, which makes it 255, the 3rd octet, and the last octet 255. Like I don't care what goes here. So my range becomes 30.10. For the 30.10.0.0 network, my range becomes 30.10.0.1 through 30.10.255.254. And these 3 addresses are included in that range. So these 3 loopbacks get included inside of EIGRP. Now let's go check to see if I can see these networks on router 2 or 3. Let's check on router 3. So show IP route, EIGRP, and I see the 30.10.8, 30.10.9, and 30.10.10 networks available via router 1. Now, let's pretend that I am in charge of router 201 and router 1, and some other admin network engineer is in charge of router 2, 3, and 4. And that guy comes up to me and says, I don't want you cluttering up my routing table with all the 30 networks. I don't want you sending me all 3 networks. Could you please summarize this and send me one network instead? So we saw the summarization process, and now all we have to do is apply it. So I go to my router 1. Since this side of the network between router 1, 2, 3, and 4 is supposed to see the summary, I go to my router 1, and I go to my interface connected on that LAN between router 2, 3, 4, and 1, which is fast Ethernet, interface fast Ethernet 0/0, and I execute the command IP summary address EIGRP, then the autonomous system number, which is 100, then the summary address, which was 30.10.8.0, and then my summarized mask, which was 255.255.248.0, and I hit enter. Now, you see the neighborship was bounced. It went down and came back up, which means this should have worked, but my previous experience has been, now at work you wouldn't have to do this on a real router, but with Packet Tracer, since it's a virtual router, I have to shut down this interface, wait a few seconds, and then no shut. This is just a Packet Tracer anomaly that has you shut down the interface and then no shut for it to work. Now I should have this summary address that I just entered, the 30.10.8.0, in my router 2, 3, and 4's routing table instead of the individual loopback networks. So let's go to router 2 and check. Show IP route EIGRP. And see, I have the 30.10.8.0/21 network in my routing table instead of all 3. Let's check router 3. Show IP route EIGRP. And once again on router 3, I see the 30.10.8 network instead of all 3. Previously, I saw all 3, 30.10.8, 30.10.9, and 30.10.10. Now I only see the 30.10.8.0 network, which is my summarized address. Let's check router 4 also. And you should once again see the 30.10.8 instead of all 3. This concludes our EIGRP lecture.